Hi, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video tutorial about network troubleshooting. In today's video, I'll teach you the host command. So this is a utility mainly used for performing DNS lookups, and network administrators use it regularly to convert domain names to IP addresses and the other way around. Right, so this is a Unix command and it will now work on Windows. For that platform you have NSLookup and dig shown in previous tutorials. Right, so let's try to run the command. Let's say we want to get the IP address of the domain name google.com. If we run host google.com, let's run it. As you can see here in the standard output, which is this one here, the command will return the IPv4 and IPv6 IP addresses for google.com and some MX records. If you remember from the tutorial about NSLookup, an MX record or a mail exchange record is basically a DNS server type of record that has information about which mail servers the domain uses to receive email. Right, in this case we have this 5 here, and the preference for each is given by the number in this column here, so 20, 10, 40, 30 and 50. In this case, the lower the number, the higher the preference, so this has the highest preference. Right, host can also perform a reverse lookup, and this means that if you feed it an IP address, also called as an A record, it should deliver the domain name for that IP address. Let's try it. Right, let me just copy paste the IPv4 address for google.com, and let me just write host and paste that IP address. Right, so let's try the command, and this is our standard output. Right, so I know this look kind of funky and you may be wondering what's this. Well, when you resolve an IP address, a record called PTR from pointer is involved. So you can think of this PTR record as an opposite of an A record. While the A record points to a domain name, points a domain name to an IP address, the PTR record resolves the IP address to a domain or a host name. And of course, the reverse DNS database of the internet is rooted in the ARPA top level domain, as you can see here. Right, so when you do reverse DNS lookups for an IPv4 address, you'll use the domain name in addr.arpa. Right, so here an IPv4 address is displayed just as a sequence of 4 decimal numbers separated by dots, as you can see here. Right, so these numbers are just bits from your IP address, but the other way around. So if you check the initial IP address and if you check the number given here, as you can see, it's the IP address we fed into the host command, but the other way around. Right, so virtually the IP address is split into 4 8-bit portions, and then each 8-bit portion is converted into a decimal number. So these decimal numbers are then concatenated in the order. Well, we have the least significant 8-bit portion first, which is leftmost, and the most significant 8-bit portion last, rightmost. Right, so it is important to know that this is the reverse order to the usual convention for writing IPv4 addresses in the contextual form seen here. Right, so if we want to see other type of records, we'll need to know some options that we can use in conjunction with host. So if we run the command without any arguments, so let's delete this and run it like this, it will return a list of all the possible options that can be used with host. I won't really dwell on these, but if you like to read more about them or try them out, visit the host manual. But I'd like to show you a few of them though. So if you want to see the SOA record, if you remember from previous tutorial, the SOA is the start of authority record. You can simply use option, as you can see here, -C. Right, so this compares SOA records on authoritative name servers. Right, so let's try it out. Host-c google.com, and as you can see here, it shows the SOA records. Right, let's clear the screen, and if we want to specify the query type, we can use the -t. Let's check the options again. So we can use the -t to specify the query type. So for that, we'll type in -t, and let's say we wanted to display the name servers for google.com. For that, we'll write ns google.com. Right, so ns stands for name server, and if we run the command, as you can see here, it will list all the 4 name servers associated with google.com. In the same way, we can list mail exchange records. Right, so MX, and as you can see here, it lists all our mail exchange records. Right. You also have the option -A, and this will list any details about that IP address. So it's basically the equivalent of any as a query type for NS lookup. Right, so let's try it. -A google.com, and as you can see here in the output, is similar to the output for the D command. Right, so you have a question section, which is this one here, and this tells us that the host command asked everything via the any option. Then you have an answer section, and this tells us that the address of google.com is this one here, right? And that it has 4 responsible DNS name servers shown here, and so on. Right, so as you can see, host is quite easy to use. You can use it when you want to display information for other DNSs in the internet, or just testing our DNS. As usual, we can always type man host to see the manual, or host help to explore more detail about the host command usage. I highly recommend that you use the manual every time you have a question or misconception about a particular command, and I strongly encourage you to try all the other options for yourself. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.